I don't know if this is working. I haven't streamed in months, and I don't know what my settings are, or if you're able to hear me. Um, so right now, this is the Texas Mini Worlds Star Wars CCG tournament. Um, Hosted by Robbie Hendon, who has done a fantastic job all weekend running everything. We had half of the games yesterday, 4 of the 8 pods, and we have the other 4 today. I think today's first one is just about finishing. This is a game between Adam Trunzo and Crazy Runner Guy. And a quick tip, if you're ever looking to figure out who's winning a game, you want to just jump into a jump game real quick and see like who's winning this game. Look at the loss piles. So right here, you look at and you're like, okay, this guy has, this guy, dark side has the system, right? And you're like, light side has the beach and the ping, and they're both, there's the what do you call it? The audience chamber has projection of a Skywalker on there, so it's a drain of 0, and they're fighting over this. So it looks like dark is draining for 2 because of Ellis and Hinthra adding the icon, and light side's draining for 2, and then light side's pinging for 1. Light side's slightly out damaging, dark side's not doing anything here. You're like, okay, it seems kind of even, and they both have low cards in hand. Their life force counts are only 8 or 9 off. You're like, okay, dark's slightly winning. Oh no, they're actually like 29 minus 12, 17 off. So looking at life force here, you can see they're way winning. But a lot of times you can't tell because it's pretty even, because one deck will put a lot less cards on table. So you're trying to evaluate a board state. And a very quick shortcut that's not always accurate, but can help a lot, is just look at loss piles. Right here, 0 in lost to 24 in lost. What that means is, even though they're both low in hand size, dark side just has way more on the board, and you can look at, if you count that, you see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 character, 13 characters and 3 ships versus 5 characters. So you can see dark just has way more on the board, and way less loss pile. They're clearly ahead here. I think it's always a tough call when you draw up in differential, because Scum, I mean, I guess with their hand so low, it's not a big deal, but Scum is just going to keep retrieving all that until they beat you. Right now, likely what's happening is Scum drains for 2 and battles and retrieves 2, and light side drains 2, pings 1, and if dark can just keep battling over and over and retrieving, they're trying to figure out what's going on here. It looks like we have essentially trying to go back through the game, looking at the current board state and figure out what's going on. By the way, if anyone is watching this, it looks like in the chat is Ryan and Ming. If you guys can hear me, just type in the chat. I'll keep going, but confirm for me that like the stream looks okay, it's not all pixelated, that you can hear my voice, that sort of thing. So trying to reconstruct this game, since I just jumped into this, we have CCT, which started any methods necessary so that it could get this Boba Fett and his gun, which lets him take Jabba's prize, which this is a virtual one the light side used so that he could give up Corrin instead of Han, for a reason I'll talk about in a minute. And then dark side warps that Boba Fett over here, and then using the gun, warps him over. It lets him once per game relocate him. Audience chamber pulls an alien, which he used to pull Darrow, which downloads a droid. He downloaded IG and then transferred the frozen captive over so IG could do force pile pulls, pulling out all those good bounty hunter ships and getting Scum and Villain on the table, which lets him retrieve when he battles. It looks like he also has Erica on the table, letting him retrieve one every turn. Meanwhile, Adam's plan with no idea is to play a bunch of spies and drain for 2 at the beach and ping with Stardust for 2. 1, once Darkside can reduce out with Decree. What looks like went wrong is light side is playing. You've got a lot of guts coming here, which suspends the retrieval from Scum. However, Han has to be at a battleground, and what I'm guessing is Trunzo's light side deck plays Han Chui Falcon to have guts here and just could not hang in space. He's probably playing a fair amount of strong space. I'm guessing, including Wedge and Ship, which is popular and no idea a lot right now, to add a Destiny to attrition or power versus an independent ship. However, his pulling ships from reserve, if Crazy Runner Guy, if Matt got a really good space draw and was just IG pulling space cards over and over and retrieving when he battles, likely what happened is, well, until Falcon got out. So Falcon, since it's a Reflection 3 card, you cannot pull it with the no idea objective. So maybe he wasn't able to find it and CRG was retrieving, or maybe he did find it, but it was just too late. But it looks like essentially Dark took the system. Guri on Stinger is really good, capping them at 1 Destiny and adding your own Battle Destiny Dengar, adding to attrition for every ship there and removing any immunity. And then Ellis and Hinthra with Wolf making all their Destinies -1. And then you've got Proxima, who's adding a Destiny, and then you've got Ponda Baba, who's adding a Destiny to attrition that is +2 with your Smuggler, which Wolf is. So all of that combined means Darkside right now is getting 3 Battle Destinies because of Proxima, ability, and Stinger. They are adding X to attrition, where X is Dengar plus Dengar number of ships for Dengar, +2 from Ponda Baba, plus a Destiny from Ponda Baba. So they're getting, plus, let's say there's 2 ships there, a Destiny +4, and they're making all the Destinies -1, like, and they're capping light side to 1 Destiny. So that's really hard to fight. I think probably the only thing that would beat that right here would be like X-Wing guns. And theoretically, CRG might have Ceasefire or something like that. But yeah, so you can see why Dark took the system. And once that happened, no guts is going to be in play, which means Darkside's retrieving over and over. And you saw that loss pile when we got in, and then Light's just, it's doing its damage. But when Dark's retrieving 1 from Erica and 2 from every battle, that's pretty grim. It looks like Trunzo's trying to put up a fight at the Carbonite Chamber. He's just playing for diff right now. He's taken 2 every turn, and he's trying to see, if I get 3 through, and he's retrieving 1 with Erica, then can I get enough cards? Can I get an extra couple diff or 2? And that's the annoying part about playing differential, is you gotta grind out. He's clearly losing this game. You want to just be like, let me scoop and go to the bathroom, get a drink, chill out. And it's like, nope, I gotta see, can I get you down 1 or 2 more? Or am I risking getting you up 1 or 2 more because you get cards from your hand, you lose them, and they go back in? And it's just like, it's a thing, but that's the format we're playing today, this weekend, and it's interesting. It's definitely, I think it was 10 years ago, I want to say, 2010 or so, that we switched from diff to strength of schedule. And I'm very glad we did. But diff is an important skill to have in Star Wars because it comes up in match play. And my team and I were saying that. Ryan points out in the chat. Good point. I did say he was playing Frozen Corrin for a reason I would point out later, and the later reason was that if you give them Han, you obviously can't do guts. And that's your key strategy versus Scum. And so you give them Corrin instead and make him a dead card in your deck, unless you can somehow free it, just so that you can get your guts going. I was talking with my team after the NPC, and we were talking about how a lot of people sort of struggle with how to maximize differential in the end game in match play, and then we saw it again a lot yesterday. in our games, and so I think it might be maybe sometime we'll try and do a tutorial or something on some strategies to maximize in-game diff, because it's an important skill. It's a very different skill than a lot of other Star Wars skills. There's just little key moves related to used interrupts. When do you lose from hand? When do you lose from reserve deck? How do you maneuver cards? When do you decide, like, I'm going to block it? Normally I wouldn't care about this drain. I'm going to block this drain because this guy's forfeit will cover, and normally I wouldn't want to lose. I got, like little stuff that's like, I'm just going to up my diff by 2. But that can make all the difference in match play, So it is definitely a skill worth practicing. The other thing I think is a lot of people don't get practice with it, because if you're playing a game on Jemp, whether that's a OCS or casual game or whatever, when you're clearly losing like this, I don't think there's any scenario in which CRG and Trunzo are playing this game in like a casual game on Jimp where Trunzo would not have conceded by now, would not have just been like, all right, GG. They wouldn't play out this end game, right? And so they don't get the practice at it. You're not going to grind down a game you're losing by 28 right now and be like, can I get them down to 27 or 26? Woo, that sounds fun, right? You're like, all right, next game. I don't want to waste, what little Star Wars time I might have to grind out a very losing game. And so consequently, you don't necessarily get a lot of practice at that. But yeah, at some point soon, it's going to be worth Trunzo just drawing up. Right now, CRG's at 28. I think he was at 27 when we came in. So, and 3 in hand, and now he's at 2 in hand. So it's, at some point it's going to be activated all, drain 2, ping 1, drop, and that might just be this turn. London Sean with the burn. You don't have to worry about diff when you go 4-0. Joe, I was the only number 1 seed yesterday to not go 4-0 in my pod. I played awful my last game. I might talk about that later, but there's still too much trauma. But yes, yesterday, all of the other number 1 seeds, MHT, Craig Shaw, and Baroni all went 4-0, and I went 3-1 for the number 1 seeds, finishing 15-1 yesterday. And London Sean points out you don't have to worry about diff if you just go 4-0. If that were the case. But I guess Matt here, CRG, went 4-0, so that is awesome for him, winning Pod A, which is, Bastion's pod, and I think everyone would have had their money on Bastion winning Pod A. So, nice work. This guy might be known as Crazy Star Wars Guy now. It's pretty awesome. I just woke up a little bit ago, and the only results I checked was on Kyle, because, a good friend and teammate, and it looks like he will probably go 2-2, which is unfortunate, but happens. And so I don't know what else is happening in the tournament this morning. I will try and figure that out, or see if I can get an update on the pods. Let me look at Pod A here. Pod A results. It looks like coming into this last game, Crazy Runner Guy was 1, Trunzo 2, Karuli 3, Bastion 4. However, Matt beating Trunzo means he'll be the only 4-0. Trunzo is going to be 3-1, but with a negative differential, because he only has 20 diff right now, and he's going to lose by more than 20. So 3-1 with a negative diff probably will not make it. If I look at the other, it looks like one of the Pod A games finished for this round. Bastion won by 23 over Ryan. So he finished 3-1 with a positive 34 differential. So yeah, Trunzo's unfortunately, after an awesome 3-0 start, it looks like this scum game knocked him back enough. and he would have had to win to, even if he lost by 1 here, the diff doesn't matter because he was at 20. Even if he lost by 1 and it made it 19, Bastion was at plus 11, 2 and 2 plus 11, versus 3 and 0 plus 20. So Trunzo was squeaking him out. Probably some really good close games, really good play. But Bastion beating Jellison, who was Owen Jellison, who went 0 and 4 today, apparently. Very uncharacteristic. Bastion beat Ryan by 23, puts him at 34 differential. So now the only other one who can catch Bastion would be Mr. Caruli, who's at plus 14. So he needs to win by at least 11 to get the second spot. Let's go ahead and check in on his game, because this game seems pretty much over. So I want to see. That's maybe not looking great. Let's see. Let's see if I can. In a minute, I have to unfull screen this. And let's see if that worked. Checking on the chat. Yeah, Ryan's talking about Bastion. It'll depend on how Caruli needs to win by, I think I said 10 or 11. Right here, Caruli is Diplo, and he is getting smashed by a court deck. And I don't know if you caught the very first few seconds of my stream. It was pretty much the first thing I talked about. But one quick proxy to see who's winning is look at loss piles. We've got 17 for light side and 1 for dark side. It looks like Matt is playing Diplo with no guts, so Scum has just been retrieving over and over, battling in space, retrieving, battle on the ground and retrieving. So that's unfortunate for Matt, because if he was able to win this by 10 plus, he would advance, and kind of unfortunate for anyone else wanting to win this tournament, because then Bastion wouldn't advance. But no, it does look like Drew is going to get a solid win here, and Matt will get probably 3rd or 4th place between him and Adam. Him and Adam will get 3rd and 4th, both at. Oh no, sorry. Adam will still be 3 and 1. Matt would have needed to win this to go 3 and 1. So it'll be Matt Caruli. Sorry, there's a couple Matts in this pod. Matt Caruli would have had to win this to go 3 and 1 and win by at least 10 to pass Bastion's 3 and 1. So it looks like Matt, crazy runner guy, is first. Bastion will be 2nd, Trunzo 3rd, and then somewhere around Caruli, Drew. Drew will pass Caruli by winning this game. So Drew and what does that put him 4th, and then Caruli or Kyle in 5th. So not super surprising. This is a tough pod. Looking at this, everyone would expect Bastion to advance, and he will, barring something really crazy in this game. If somehow I don't know, Caruli got in a huge beatdown and there was no Gick and he overflowed for 20 or something. Maybe there's a clash or something. Oh, yeah, and see, Caruli's having to peel a bunch here to keep Luke alive. That's rough. It looks like 8 battle damage. He had to peel 8 to keep Luke alive. But if you lose Luke there, I mean, what are you left with? So if one of the 2 cards in hand is like a clash, and there's no... Of course, I'd probably move away if I'm Drew here. Move both of them away and just eat the drain of 3. You've got a big enough... Oh, no, he didn't move. He must have the Gick in hand. Just save 1 and moving doesn't matter. It's the most easily is the adjacent side. He can just shuffle over. And then he'd eat a drain of 3 and then shuffle over if he... So not moving is the correct play. Yeah, I mean, if Matt has like a clash, can overflow Chelly for... He'd also have to have like another dude, maybe like a Screaming Lando. Now, he is saving 5 in reserve, so he is planning on doing something. But if he had like a Screaming Lando and he could draw like 5/5 and overflow Chelly for like, 25 force, he can advance. There's a window that's very small and unlikely. but more or less the standings I just said are likely. And so going back to what I was talking about, it's a very tough pot. Everyone would expect Bastion to advance, but looking at the rest, you could see Jellison advancing. You could see Kyle advancing. You could see Matt Crewley advancing. You could see Trunzo advancing. You could see Crazy Runner Guy advancing. You could see Drew advancing. Sorry, Grady. It would have been an upset if Grady had advanced. But yeah, I mean, between Ryan, Kyle, Drew, Caruli, Trunzo, Crazy Runner Guy, and Bastion, that's like 7 of them that you're like, okay, I'm not too surprised they advanced. And like even Crazy Runner Guy, he's a solid player. But you probably wouldn't have picked him in the top 3-4 of his pod. So really strong showing by him, and he can have those runs like that where he just performs really well. It looks like he's got a good deck here with his Court of Out Gangster, and obviously running into Diplo is a good match rather than Throne Room, something like that. So yeah, I'm betting Matt Crewley's kicking himself a little, thinking I wish I would have played that Prophet Spaceport Speeders deck from the NPC, because I think that would probably crush Cork pretty well. Activate a bunch real early, selling speeders, and then just pile a ton of guys and take the AC. And it's always a bummer to get bad matchups. It's nice when they're kind of 50-50 matches and it comes down to play skill. So let's see. Well, the last 2 games we've jumped in have both been Scum games where the Scum player has little to no loss pile. So that's interesting. Projective Telepathy is played, and it cancels the battle. That's a bummer. With Broken Con and Ritik. Wow. So that was probably his last out. So he's sorry about the messes. What's her name? Aura Singh. And so it's just Lone Little Chelly left, and he plays Obi to do a bunch of overflow, and then Coffee Pass uses Broken Concentration and Ritik to essentially steal 2 of his final 3 force, or 2 of his final 4. So Matt's down to just 2. He uses 1 to initiate battle, and then he only has 1 for the Projective Telepathy, which then automatically cancels the battle. So I don't know. I'm curious if Drew had other evasion. I'm betting he probably did. Possibly a Stunning Leader, probably a Gick. But not even being able to do the battle is disheartening, So he battles in space, and he draws a 5, and he relocates down 3PO, which is an interesting point I haven't mentioned. If you'll notice, there is no Chandrilla on table. In fact, there's not even a strike planning to pull Mothma. There's no Alderaan on table. This is a non-flip Diplo. He's playing Walkling, Farm Card, and Cytor. So this is like a mains platform with Celebration. There's no Celebration on table, but I'm sure Celebration is in the deck. And the idea with Matt's deck here is you set the Tanev at Tatooine, and you can just, if they battle, you relocate down 3PO, and the next turn shuttle them up, and relocate them down, and shuttle them up, and they just sit there tanking 7 forfeit every turn, while you have Celebration running. You just, stack the system. You don't really care about battling or draining there. You're just using it for the retrieval and the getting around battle order. And then you play your guys to the ground. You've got mains and sabers, and you do the Cantino Shuffle, and you're draining and retrieving. And so that's the idea of the deck. I think probably almost all of us have built decks like this before, where you're trying to do non-flip Diplo main Celebration stuff. I've never found it that strong, unfortunately. It seems so strong on paper. Like, I look at this and I'm like, yes, you got your mains and your sabers, and I love Cantina Shuffle and Celebration. It's so fun, and like, I love this concept, and then I play it in testing. Like, the real world outcome is much worse than the on paper version, unfortunately. So yeah. All right. Well, like I said, we've been in a couple blowout scum games here. So, um, uh, looks like Alice has enough hyperspeed to run away, and I think it probably just should. There's no reason to fight over that. There's no celebration. There's no, I mean, I guess since this shuttle down on his turn, he can get a free shot at like killing the Corvette and retrieve two. But like, why? Right now he's so far ahead. Um, Tatooine is there's no celebration. Tatooine's a drain of 0 when Diplo's not flipped. Apparently, it's a force drain amount of 4 right now for Dark, but because the Tantive adding an icon and Ellis adding an icon, that's funny. Of course, to take advantage of that with the Tantive there, you'd need Tatooine Maul to blank all the ability. But it's a drain 0 for light side. I think you just abandon it, keep the drain free, and just keep pounding on the ground. So Matt, of course, gets to initiate battles free and ignore Velterpin Travag, who makes you pay plus X to battle, where X is a total number of icons, so it's plus 4 to battle there. It will cost 5 force to battle there, which is pretty brutal, but of course, free is free in this game. Matt wonders, why is that still free with battle order, but Sabine firing against Greedo isn't free? So Greedo says you first must use 1 to fire a weapon, and then she's firing it free, is what I'm thinking. Whereas with Travag, it's not before initiating battle. It's to initiate. It's part of the to initiate, and this is to initiate is free. Whereas, well, does Greedo say? Yeah, he probably says to fire a weapon. So that's interesting. Greedo's, yeah, I guess Greedo's an additional requirement besides the. He doesn't add 1 to the cost to fire a weapon. He just makes it cost 1 to fire a weapon. It's a separate cost. So, yeah, that makes sense. Dark side here is gonna because Travag is a bounty hunter, Fett's gonna add 2 destinies with him, and he's gonna try and draw enough to crack Luke's 9 or Obi's 9 rather, because Luke obviously he'd rather forfeit Obi than Luke. So unlikely. We knew there was a couple projected telepathies in there because he drew 1 in the space battle. He played 1 in the Cantina battle. So he gets an 8. I don't see anything. Oh, he gets 3 destiny though. So yeah, he should be able to crack. Yeah, 553. He will clear both of them. He will. I'm thinking. Oh, Trebeg's a forfeit 6 because of both the court objective +2 and +1 from the Cantina. She's a 4. If I'm Dark here, I would probably just prefer to lose everyone. I mean, he's probably still holding a Gick, so maybe not. But it's tempting to just, if Lightside draws a 5, lose Chelly, then Travag, then Fett, and draw and be on your way, because Light's then doing nothing there, and then move away in space. Light literally is draining for 0, has no guys down at the sites. Like there's no, you're still in control, and then I just draw some. When you're Drew, is Drew? We decided Drew's not playing for the top 2. It was Matt who was. Drew is 1 and 2 right now. So even if he wins this, he's 2 and 1. So yeah. Oh. Matt's just peeling. He says, game's over. I'm not going to win this game, which means I'm not going to finish 3 and 1. Because he was 2 and 1 right now. And he knows he's not going to win. So he knows he's going to finish 2 and 2. He says, all right, I throw in the towel. Just peels to battle damage rather than forfeiting both of them. Because, once he forfeits both of them with 1 card in hand, like, where do you even go from there? So... Yep. All right. That game's finished. Well done, Drew, for that game. Let's see. We have so since Bastion got second in his pod, he's got to play a one seed, which is MHT. So we're gonna have MHT versus Bastion. Same thing happened to me. I got second in my pod, so I have to play a one seed, which will be Baroni. So we're gonna have some good first round matches. I think me and Baroni will be a lot of fun. I think MHT and Bastion will be a good match. And then and that means we got in MHT's pod, David Woods was the second place finisher, and he'll play CRG. So one of them will be advancing to the top 8. Corin beat Gogolin and is now 2-0 in Desai's pod. Team Pad Deck breakdowns. Corin and CRG are now 6-0 on the day. Bad deck, good play, apparently. So let me see what other games are going on right now. We got Kyle versus Grady. We can pop over to that. From Basil, is that Bill? I always forget, and then I always think I remember that it's Bill this time. Let me pop over. We got here Kyle versus Grady. Kyle is playing a Throne Room deck. Grady is playing an ISB deck with the Free Executor. Free Executor looks like it is facing attentive. It looks like Light has a drain of 0 here because there's a non-undercover ISB agent. Jin is draining here, but of course Coward would shut that down if he can kick him off Bespin. However, Coward's not out and 4 shields are, so I don't know if he's shield busted or not. The advantage Kyle has right now, of course, is he's up 17 life force and 9 in hand, 26 total versus 9 total hand and life, so he's got a significant advantage. But once Tanev dies here, then hopefully Kyle has the Hujix, because that only covers 12 versus 18. I would assume he does. I mean, otherwise he probably would have been drawing more. Or he would have shuttled up, you know. From here, though, I am... Actually, it's Darkseid's turn. Why would Kyle not... He has 10 in force. Why would Kyle not have moved to Mustafar? Did I just jump in at the wrong... I'm really confused here. What is... What's going on? Sorry, I'm having to refresh. I got the GIMP refresh error. Why would Tantive not be at... All he did was retrieve with Rose. Deploys Jin, draw, like, hang on. I'm so confused. What is going on? So let's see. Last turn, Kyle activated, Rose retrieve, deployed Jin and broker cover, and drew. Did he forget Mustafar was on table? I mean, he's 1 and 2 right now. Maybe he's just like, whatever. I'm not even really paying attention. But that... Maybe, yeah, there was no gravity shadow. I just looked at the log. Like, I don't know. So Darkseid's battling. I think this is a matchup of a 1 and 2 and 0 and 3 player. So they're kind of having fun at this point, you know. Let's see. In Desai's pod, there's 1 game going left. It looks like it's got quite a bit of time. So maybe we'll hop over to that. It looks like Heisenberg's Legend versus Matt Scott's ISB. So we'll hop over to that. I think this, I'm guessing Lightside has enough life force to take this down. Um, let's see. Let's switch over to that other game. Here we go. So we've got Matt Scott's ISB, which looks like it is a field promotion ISB with the garrison and the field promotion and the yada yada yada. Light side has menace fades, but Stalker says you cannot satisfy menace fades. The weird thing is all of these characters that are on vengeance, because normally you want to stack Stalker so that when it follows, you can then choose to battle them on your turn if you want. So looks like Poe and Radis are on the Falcon. I guess if the Falcon hasn't double moved yet, keeping them all on vengeance is better, because then you follow with the empty Stalker, and then if the Falcon double moves back against, if everyone was on the Stalker and they double move back over to the empty vengeance and then kill it, that would be annoying. So you stack the vengeance and just follow with the Stalker, because then it's going to be your turn and you just don't battle, and then you move the vengeance with it. And so if you're afraid of that double move, stacking the vengeance is the correct play. And that's probably what's going on here. So dark side, because Menace Fades is not turned on, dark side is draining 2 there. I'm not quite sure why they chose to take their own site instead of one of the Maz Castle sites, because the garrison would be adding an extra +1 there. But they did. I guess projection would cancel that out, but it still would. The projection still just makes this a drain of 1, and this is a drain of 1, this is a drain of 1 without the bonuses. So dark is just piling a whole bunch of guys in front. Right now, in terms of damage, we're looking at dark draining 2, which will be 1 every other turn. So they're alternating between Jakku and Mustafar, and then the Falcon has to run, and the Stalker follows it, and so they're draining 1.5 between the 2 systems, and they're draining 2 there. So they're doing either 4 or 3 every other turn, and they're retrieving an ISB agent. And light side, meanwhile, is draining just 1 here, because it's a natural drain of 1. It's +1 from this objective and -1 from this objective, so it's just a drain of 1 and a retrieve. So light, drain 1, retrieve 1. Dark, drain 3 or 4, retrieve 1. So dark is definitely in a better board position state. They have 20 hand and life versus light side's 22, which will about to become, after this drain and retrieve, 19 to 23. So dark's down by 4, but they'll catch up within a turn and a half in terms of life force. So impetus is definitely on light side to do something here. There is not a ton of opportunity in space, especially since Lana is the grabbed card, not command. So if there are commands in here, which I imagine there are, usually garrison versions use some commands. So you probably can't do something like throw Hera on there, get 3 destinies, clear out a bunch of guys sort of thing, because command will just stop that. So you probably have to keep running in space. You're opening here. I see 2 options for light. Square, so you can start picking up some more drains. It's not super ideal because dark will satisfy resistance. Of course, resistance isn't out, but clearly Matt has some shield pullers in his deck, as he's already has 5 shields out, or 6 shields out. But if you can go there, it's a drain of 3, 2 if he gets resistance, and if you can go here. So that's one option, is going wide, throw R2 and like Ahsoka over here, and throw like Jin over here, and just run in space and try and out damage. Up your damage output, because right now he's up by 4 hand and life, like we said. Of course, if he deployed a few things, they'd be about even. But then he'd start doing about 4 to 6 instead of 1, and that would help move the numbers in his favor. The other option I see is battling against that stack of guys. That is not a scary stack. There's no Tarkin to cancel a Destiny. There's no Callus to add a Destiny. There's no Garrison to add a Destiny. There's nothing there that's scary that does anything. It's 16 power. There's no troopers, so there's no trooper assault. There's no, I mean, nobody really has immunity. Iceheart has less than 3, but like, there's nothing there. It's just 16 guys and a bunch of forfeits. So if you can throw down a guy or two here just for forfeit fodder, just to essentially cover the Iceheart gain +3 power when defending a battle with a spy. Yeah, so there's definitely spies there. She gained 3 power, so we went from 16 to 19. But if you can basically battle, retrieve with Leia, hit a dude, they lose a dude to forfeit, you lose a dude to forfeit, battle, retrieve with Leia, you can turn the tide a little bit, making Dark waste resources on that. But it's incremental because Dark will be retreating one of those guys in draw phase, and I think they're kind of content to, like, they're not going to battle. They're kind of content to sit there, let you battle and retrieve one, and sort of trade some guys. So, meanwhile, while draining 3 to 4. So, Light plays Sorry About the Mess to kill that dude mid-battle. I don't think that was worth it because that guy does nothing this battle other than being 3 power and 6 forfeit, but there's no... Lana wasn't played. If Lana had been played to save his forfeit, then all right, cool, you kill 6 forfeit, but he was forfeit, you took away 3 power, like, and you lost 2 cards to do it. You lost a Sorry About the Mess and the leadership. No, he retrieved the leadership. He lost the leadership to play Sorry. Did he lose 2 leaderships? Because he retrieved one too. Anyway, he did get to retrieve one with Ray Saber, but that was happening regardless, whether or not he used Sorry or not. So especially because here he's going to draw multiple destinies. He's not going to get outpowered. So that dude was, and he's not going to overflow him with all that forfeit. That dude was doing nothing. It was, you essentially lost your Sorry and another force for no reason. Anyway, those are the little things that can add up. Right now, Vandalay redraws. The Destiny takes an ISB agent into hand, draws a 6. Light side uses their redraw on their objective to instead make Dark draw a 1, which will probably get redrawn with reinforcement. There it is. And then Dark, lots of redraws. That's the nature of the game these days. Dark draws a 5. So Dark's total power is 21. And if that dude hadn't been Sorry, it'd be 24, and Light Sides is 24 point blah, 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 because of BB-8. So Light still would have won by just under 1, and Dark still would have had 11 point whatever to forfeit, and that one dude sitting there would still be lost, like, yeah. So think about that. Whenever you're going to, just because you hit someone doesn't mean you have to Sorry About the Mess them. In fact, if you wanted to Sorry About the Mess, you should have just done that in control phase, because then you don't have to lose the extra force. You play Sorry About the Mess, you swing and hit a dude, and they're immediately lost, and then you can hit another dude in battle. So there's no reason why Sorry About the Mess should have been played in that battle, because it was useless. And if you wanted to thin out more guys, you do it during the control phase, so you kill a guy and then hit another dude. So anyway, I've explained that enough. You guys get it. Hopefully think about that. All right, Taco Bell, have a good day. Enjoy your Sunday. So let's see. I think then, we have some Pod C games starting. We've got a Euro Emperor versus Chris Kelly playing Yavin 4 operations. What a troll. We've got Sperlings Throne Room. Your Emperor's doing hunt now, by the way. Sperling's Throne Room versus Brad Kipple's ISB. And then we've got Taco Bill was signing off because he's about to play. He has a dark game up, and Gornall has a dark game up. Worf said, "I'm here. Someone texted Taco." And Taco's game is the top one. Worf's just missed it. Taco says, "Quit trying to dodge me." All right, so let's take a look at that Pod C game. This Heisenberg game might go on a while. Let me see if I can mess with my streaming settings to capture a window that shows a pod. Let's see, there's like a Star Wars forum that I can go to. Whoa. Alright, let's see. It only has GIMP password saved. Alright, so Kyle did win that final game versus that Bespin, Grady's Bespin deck by 15, so probably eventually just battled, and I don't know what happened with that Tanev on Kyle. Alright, Pod C, which is the one just starting, is the Chris Kelly pod. This was the third ranked pod, and we have Bill Kafer, Taco Bill, Bobby Breer is Gornall, Brad Kipple, B. Kipple, Chris Menzel is the Euro Imp, Chris Werfs is Werfs, Christopher Kelly is Chris Kelly, Forrest, I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce that last name. I will show it to you guys though. Why is Discord open? No one's co-commentating with me. Go away, Discord. Let's see if I can add a window. Boop, 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 boop. Add source. PC forum. So let's see. In this game, it looks like he deployed that Tarkin that he had taken into hand. Is that in the way? It totally is in the way. Neat. URL. Oh, here we go. Oh no, I want a window capture, not a... Sorry guys, I'm a noob. So it looks like that Tarkin got deployed since Obi-Wan moved over to support. Tarkin is probably going to come down and he'll move all these dudes over. Pops a Presence of the Force onto this, which will make it a drain of 3, which I don't know if that's ideal because he'll be shield busted, but there is literally no other. He could make his own location a drain of 1. I almost think that's not a bad play to just throw it on here and throw an ISB agent there and then make it a drain of 2, so that, because if Light does have a shield puller, they just cap that to 2 anyway, so then you're doing 2 total, versus if you put it there, you're doing 2 and 2. But maybe he doesn't have a lot of dudes left or whatever. I mean, you could even put it here and shuttle some guys down, but of course then you might not have enough to challenge the Falcon. So, but doing something like that to make a 2 and 2 rather than a single drain of 3, which can be resistance capped, is something to consider. It's not necessarily the play, but it's something to think about. So let's see. We want not that, not that. Hey Robbie, thanks for running all this. This has been awesome. I want to pod C results set. There we go. I got something working. Let's see. So, um, now if we look at this results thread, yeah. So, oh yeah, I was showing this because Forrest, Mr. Droid Pimp. That's, you know, people can't pronounce my first name, so it sucks having an unpronounceable name sometimes. But that's like a really cool, unpronounceable name. And then Matt Sperling, which I guess he's a Magic player who started playing Star Wars again recently after playing back in the 90s, and he's been around for, I don't know, maybe 2 months or so, 3 months, something like that. Joined the OCS, and he joined the Slack chat, and he's been pretty active, so cool to see a, I guess, returning player, technically closer to almost a new player, but I think he went about 50% in his OCS game, so he's started solid and likely will be improving quite a bit. So he's not one you would expect to necessarily qualify this time, but he is up and coming. I don't think he's going to be an easy out by any means. Though in this bracket, it looks like Werfs and Kelly are the top two. Brad is probably a third pick to qualify. Yeah, I mean, you could see a few different people here qualifying. So if we look at Chris Kelly is definitely a favorite here. If we look at go back to this game here. It looks like Light Side played that Ray that they had done Jedi's Resilience with in that last battle, and they swung at and hit Tarkin. Now see, if he still had that, sorry about the mess, I know I'm mentioning it again, but he could have used that in control phase, killed the Tarkin, and now used both these weapons to hit 2 dudes, and the last dude dies to attrition, and you're happy. Alas, not the case. And here, probably just cancel that Destiny so that Vandalay is not hit. And then you eat the Battle Destiny, is my guess. Because you'd rather keep Vandalay and lose Rens than vice versa. No? That's weird. Alright. I mean, I guess maybe he doesn't want to get outpowered, but the forfeit will cover that anyway. I don't know what his decision there was. If he had a force saved, then I would say, well, he's just greedy for the retrieval with enforcement, and he wants to just cancel the Battle Destiny to guarantee he wins the battle. Maybe he's planning to just not draw Destiny so he can lose both, dude. No, we can't do that now. No, he does cancel it. Yeah, I don't know. I would have canceled to swing on Vandalay so that you could lose Rens. I mean, if you're choosing between the two to have on table, they're both power 2, they're both forfeit 6, but Vandalay has techs that's useful, Rens not so much. But, you know, oh well. Alright, let's pop open Pod C. Oh, so let's look at the Pod C matchups. It looks like we have Kafer versus Werfs, Menzel versus Kelly, Bobby versus Forrest, and Kipple versus Sperling. I think let's pop into Kafer versus Werfs. Also, let me know if it is more interesting. I know most streamers will sit here and just stream one whole game. I feel like action in Star Wars cards is slow enough that you can kind of pop in between. But you do miss stuff. You definitely do. But you also are sitting here a long time speculating on the same stuff, and you end up talking about how they used a sorry about the mess wrong for 20 minutes. Ooh, we didn't save one for Stalker follow, so now fades will be in effect, but it doesn't matter that much because it's only stopping a +1 right here. It saved him 1 force, so instead he'll drain 2 and 2. So not a big deal. So I do kind of like popping between, see how the game state's going, talk a little bit about the match, say, okay, yeah, this dude's kind of winning, cool, and then pop over to another one and go back and forth, and maybe not even back, but just go to some different games and see some different matchups and stuff. That's sort of my preference rather than sitting and just going for an hour and 20 minutes on one matchup. Unless, of course, it's like a top finals, or 2 really good players, something like that. But when we're just looking at, a lot of the sort of middle tier games that are kind of back and forth, popping around between them is my preference. But if that bothers you guys and you're like, just stick to one game, let me know. I can do that. Ryan makes a good point. He says if he doesn't get to see every single point of did I just leave this over the PC forum over the screen for the last 5 minutes? Sorry, noob. Ryan says if he doesn't see every single point of ISB retrieval throughout the game, what really is the point? What indeed? Thanks. Yeah, my if I talk into the mic, it's really loud, and if I look over here, it's really not. That's a good point. I wonder if I can adjust this somehow to make it a little better. My monitor is this stupid widescreen monitor, so the mic just does not have room. And you know what? If it was on the other side, that'd be a hassle to change. All right, I'll try and be cognizant of that and talk more into the mic and not turn away so much. Thank you for letting me know that. So we were talking about popping into another game. And we were saying Taco Bill has ISB versus Werf's No Idea. Let's maybe look at some matchups. So we've got ISB versus No Idea, which you guys have probably seen a lot. I played that twice yesterday as the ISB player, yeah. And then we've got a Throne Room versus ISB. We've got a Hunt Down versus Yavin 4 Operations. Those are the two sort of least played decks, but it's also kind of the biggest mismatch. Yavin 4 Operations should just steamroll Hunt Down unless the Euro Emperor is running some sort of docking bay Hunt Down with Search and Destroy. Then he has a chance, but if he's doing a standard Hunt Down with the one Downtown Plaza, then it's going to be very tough, because what will happen is, and Chris Kelly's got the Out of Commission already played, so, as a trans. Oh, what? The Hollow Theater's there, but there's no meditation chamber. Is this a deck building error? He did not say anything in the chat oh crap, where's my meditation chamber or something, but he either forgot to click on it on the option of deploy and accidentally hit done and then didn't want to ask for revert, or forgot to put it in his list. Either way, it's not good, especially when you're already in an uphill battle against a bad matchup. We've got Dodonna here, who's adding to those liberation draws and preventing any spies coming in, and the virtual thing says they can't play Presence of the Force there, so there's not really a way to invade that because Insurrection is also stopping Ellis. So short of Darkseid playing a Yavin 4 site and moving in, that site's pretty safe. There's no demotion that can go on Dodonna or anything like that. Darkseid doesn't have a Jar Jar non-spy, anything. So I think, as far as I'm aware, there's no way for Darkseid to get in here right now. But there's probably some obscure card. So Light's got Luke, who's going to sit and ping retrieve, and Red 5V that's going to let him ignore the Hunt Down, you may not force drain thing, so that Luke can force drain. We've got Red Squadron 4, who's going to force drain at Yavin 4 with Haven on there, giving it a Battle Destiny. I would say extra Battle Destiny, but Hobbies doesn't get one naturally, but once he has 4 ability there, it'll give an extra one. So Light's probably just going to be draining like 2 and 2 and maybe pop out another system, maybe not. They will retrieve one with their objective every turn, and a lot of times Light's decks like this also play Vergence in the Force, which, oh yeah, he just grabbed with Don't Do That Again, which is going to essentially cap this drain at 2. And when I say 2, what? So, well, there's a gameplay error, but maybe you guys will learn something from this. When I say 2, you might scratch your head for a second and go, wait, that should cap it at 1. Vergence says if you were just drained more than 2, you play it and you lose no more than 1. Why would it cap it at 2? And why it would cap it at 2 is because Vader's Saber is a may add to drain, and it's optional. Just don't click it when you drain. Once you see them pull Vergence with Don't Do That Again, you drain for 2, and you don't add with the Saber, and you drain for 2, and because if you add with the Saber, you get the 1 time plus 1, and then it's capped at 1 every time after that. So if you have a way to deal with Vergence, like Control, okay, maybe you drain with the Saber, they play the Vergence, and then you cancel or whatever. But when you see they pull Vergence, don't add your optional May. Now, of course, something like ISB, it's not optional. ISB is just +1. So if they're at their forest or defensive perimeter third marker, something like that, that's a drain 2, and they got an ISB agent there, it's a drain 3. They have to make it 3. You slap that Vergence on there, it becomes 1. Cool. But when you have the option, and they have Vergence, don't add the +1. Leave it a 2 instead of a 1. Menzel does play Emperor to protect the Hollow Theater, and then drops down Visage, which normally you have to lose 2, but when you're flipped, you don't have to lose any to Visage. So Chris Kelly's going to start peeling some more to Visage. And then he's going to be starting his drains. We'll start to liberate some planets. But yeah, right now, the drain race looks like, pending something changing, like EPP Maul coming out in his Sith Infiltrator and harassing and stuff. If the board state doesn't change, Light's doing 1 and 1 and retrieving 1, and Dark's doing 1/1 from Visage and 1 from the drain is 3. So Dark's doing 3, Light's doing 2 and retrieving 1, so it's even. But once Light has these liberated, Light's going to be doing 2/2 and retrieving 1 to Dark's 1/1/1. So Light doing 4 and retrieve 1 versus Dark's 3. So Light will be doing extra damage and retrieving 1. That's bad math for Dark Side. If they do play a Presence of the Force and can like throw it on the home 1 docking bay and make another drain of 2, that would be nice. Or, even Lana Vader over. Your best move, since this is capped at 1 and the Saber does nothing, once Vergence is out now, is to throw down that 2/0 security tower, put someone else here, and move Vader over so that you can drain 1 here and drain 1 at the security tower. But then Chris Kelly will pull simple tricks and cancel that security tower drain, so you do have to get a second battleground if you do that. So anyway, like I was saying, this is a and Light did just liberate this system. They missed the draw on Aquarius, but they made it on Yavin 4, so Chris had to stack a card, and now it is a drain of 2. Yeah, so I think Chris Kelly should win this game. Oh, yeah. Ryan points out Lightside's going to retrieve 2. I wasn't counting Luke, I was just counting the objective, but of course Luke Skywalker retrieves 1 on his own every turn too. So Dark's doing 3 with Visage in the drain, and Light's retrieving 2 of those 3. Well, they'll eventually do 4 of their own. So there was some kind of revert to do something. I don't know. But it looks like they're redoing those drains to figure it out. So, like we said, lopsided match. Is there... yeah. Once Dodonna's out, if you can control the system and play a presence of the force there, or we actually in some of our ISB builds, um, we noticed ISB was pretty weak to Yavin 4 operations. So in some of our ISB builds, we actually played the Yavin 4 docking bay because we were using rest order anyways, and we were like, we'll throw it down, throw it in there, and invade. Though ISB a lot of times might be able to get a turn one like also random scrub there. They do still have to have two battlegrounds to be able to drain there though. Yeah, yeah. Kiss My Wookie says, yeah, Hunt Down can't win. So rather than stay on that game where Hunt Down can't win, let's look at some of the other games happening right now. We have Gornall in Pod C is still waiting for someone, Droid Pimp. So I do see Droid Pimp in the lobby, but he has not joined the game yet. So Robbie put a message. I'm not sure if Force is going to show up. He mentioned he was going to drop. I added him in case he changes his mind. If not, I'll drop him. So let's go pop back in on that Heisenberg Matt Scott ISB game we had been watching, because it looks close. They're at 10 and 9 life force, and since we have a little bit of that backstory, we do have the Stalker doing its follow thing again. Looks like the Rose and the Chewie died in that Ray. At some point, all those characters died. Probably. Oh, this Garrison with a field promotion came over. Maybe he must have no, because Lana was already grabbed. I was gonna say, wasn't he over here? Did he just sacrifice that one and deploy another one? There was no way to shuttle. I remember Lana being grabbed because we noted command wasn't. So must have sacrificed that somehow and then deployed another one is my only guess. I'm sure he did not Ellison move phase. But it looks like that Chewie and Rose died. The Ray died, and now Obi's over blocking that train. He's got Lando fighting over here, but Lando's about to get cleared out by the extra destiny from Callus. Light side just has to keep running in space. Dark. Well, I mean, it looks like Dark should win this. They're only at 9 life force, but Light is only doing 1 because of the drain -1 from ISB. There's no blaster ping or anything, so Light can drain for 1, and Dark is draining for 1 or 2 at the system, and then if they can take over one of these sites, which they will, I think likely Veers dies, Lando dies. I think he'll probably battle here. Both of these are leaders. All 3 of these are leaders with field promotion making the Garrison one, so none of them can be targeted by weapons. So it's essentially 16 power and 2 destiny versus 5 power and 1 destiny. Obi covers 8, so basically he covers 13 in a destiny versus 16 in 2 destinies. So Obi's gonna take some overflow here, and then I think you don't retrieve with ISB here because you move Virgins over and then you pay 1 for upkeep. I mean, you are trying to maximize diff, so maybe you just sacrifice the Garrison at this point. Depends on how much Obi peels here, which if that 1 card isn't a Hujix in hand, he's peeling 12, which is the game. So it has to be a Hujix or Matt just wins here. So I would go ahead and retrieve with domination, assuming he is he doesn't have the Hujix. Oh, he didn't. He just canceled the retrieval. I think that was a mistake. I think right there I would have been like, yeah, I don't think you have a Hujix. I'm going to go ahead and pay the one to retrieve. And if he does Hujix, then I go, okay, I forfeit. Could he forfeit the wood? Yeah, he only drew a 2, so I forfeit the garrison and leave the other 2 guys, and then pay my last force to move over the vengeance. And then you have one more differential. So yeah, that's one of those, like we were talking about earlier, one of those little maximize your differential plays that you're basically assuming, all right, game's over with this battle. I'm going to go ahead and retrieve with enforcement. And if it's not over, well, then he has 0 cards in hand and 8 life force, and I take one damage from your drain. Like, it's fine. All right, so Matt Scott wins that game. That is in the Decide pod. Let's actually look at what is that pod. How's that pod standings going? Because we know pod C just started, but pod B. All right. Can I? Is this window already captured on Discord? I can pop it up. Yeah. Okay. So this says standings after game 2. It should say standings before game 2, after game 1. But I think Robbie's had that incorrect on his graphic all weekend. I think someone noted it in one of the earlier ones. Decide by 34 over Jeffrey Levine Treadwell. 34 is a lot. JC by 34. 34 is a lot. We got back-to-back 34s. JC's was over... oh, wait. Incorrect pairings. Here's the correct pairings. Justin Carulli beat Justin Carulli by 34. Wow. So it looks like that puts JC at 1-1, Desai at 2-0. We just saw Matt Scott win, so that puts him at 1-1. Matt Scott beat, who was he playing? Heisenberg, Daniel. So that puts Daniel at 1-1. Kindle beat Gogolin. So Gogolin's 1-1. So we got Kindle and Desai are 2-0. And then 1-1 are Gogolin, Daniel, Matt Scott, JC. And then 0-2 are Carulli and Jeffrey. So that's cool. That with that last Matt Scott game ending, that should finish out Pod B's game 2, and we should have new pairings for that here soon. Looks like the 2 3-0s will be matching up. Corin versus Desai. I think Desai might be favored, but it's close. But I think I'm really curious what Corin's playing today, because he does some off-the-wall stuff. I'm assuming he's not playing Death Star starting location 12-card hand. I think I saw earlier Desai was playing Legend. Yeah. I think we'll wait for those ones, because like I said, the Pod C games right now are let's see. Let me see if I can add another window to that. So that game ended. Let me at least go into another game that's going on. We'll pop back into that. This is that Yavin 4 operations game. Let's see if it's gotten any better for Dark. It has not. Light side has 7 and lost to 11. Light side's doing 2 and 2 and retrieving with Luke and retrieving with the objective. So, yeah, just like we thought. Let's window capture. All right, here is this one. Yeah, that one. Refresh. All right, so here I wanted to add this in so you guys could see. Here is the current Pod C games going on. Again, we're waiting for Pod B to get their game 3 up. So we've looked in that Hunt Down Yavin 4 operations. We've got Throne Room versus ISB and an ISB versus No Idea. Let's just pop into both real quick, one after the other, and see how the flow of the game is going. So first, we've got Sperling with, ooh, saucy, a Jedi Business Throne Room. So he is starting Throne Room and farm card. So it looks like he used it to pull Mos Espa and the Lars farm. And then is obviously doing fully immune Jedis with their sabers. He then does not have Luke, the Luke Rebel Scout, because that's a non-episode 1 Jedi. So probably for Luke's, he's using EPP is my guess, though theoretically he might have some kind of weird package where he's got a bunch of Air 5s and virtual Luke or something like that, but unlikely. It looks like there's just a whole mess of dudes at the Imperial Square, so I'm guessing they fought over that with R2. Oh, there is EPP Luke. Ooh. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Let me take this for a minute. Actually, no. I'll call them back. So there is an EPP Luke on top of his lost pile. So it's Luke. I just haven't looked at that. So it looks like they had a big battle over the Imperial Square, which Dark Side obviously came out ahead on, having 5 guys there to Light's had 0. What that means now is Light is a drain of 0 because ISB is flipped, plus 1 from this saber. So Light's draining 1 if they pay 3, and Dark is draining 1 at the system, 3 here because it's a natural 2 icon, and it's not -1 because there's a trooper there. Plus 1 from ISB. So Dark is doing 3 and 1 to Light's 1, and Dark's of course is free, and Dark is retrieving 1 with their objective, and potentially retrieving when they battle. And I'm guessing some of these dudes will move into the JCC at a convenient point, if not most of them or all of them potentially. Moff being here is nice for the deploy -1. Light is going to challenge in space, though. That is a point that was vulnerable, and I was kind of surprised there wasn't at least a second dude on Mara's ship, because ISB agents are such high forfeit. If you just throw 2 of them on there, they can soak up like 14 damage. Like if Poltreatum was there and evacs, you don't really have to worry. Even if they draw 3 battle destinies, they're probably not going to get 5/5/5, and so you probably can soak up the forfeit and still have your ship and then add more dudes to it. But with just 1 dude, if they can just get 8 total, which right now Solo and Rey are going to draw 2 destinies, you don't have command, there's no justice out, there's no way to cap that. So if he can get a total of 8, and he's got the potential Solo for heading for the medical, which will add 1 to it, and Ray adds 1 to the total. So really, he just needs to draw between his 2 destinies 6 total. If he gets 6, add 1 with Ray, add 1 with solos once per game. Brad plays command. I don't know if he thought he had an admiral and clicked on it and was like wanting to limit, and then ended up playing it to have to pull a guy. Or maybe he just decided I'll play it now, and maybe he was trying to bait tragedy because he's got a dark time or something to loop. I don't know. I feel like, oh, ouch. We just said Sperling needed to total 6 between 2 draws, and he totaled 4. So that 3 plus 1 is 4, plus raise 1 is 5. Even if he soloed, that'd only be 6, and Evax covers 7. So, oh, he has Jedi Love, though, in Lost Pile. I did not know that. So, Jedi Leving Luke into hand means he can't add +1 with solo, but he can hopefully crack. Oh, and he still doesn't. Could have checked his reserve with Jedi Business or JCC, but he probably figured, I just got to go for it no matter what. The problem is now he's going to lose a guy, so you probably don't want to battle there. Moff Jerjerrod. So the only reason I can see this guy being in the deck is if Code Clearance is in a deck. Like the only reason you ever play this guy in a non-TTO deck is with a Code Clearance deck. But I don't think Code Clearance would be in this because there's not that many ability 3 dudes. There's a ton of ability 2 dudes that have synergy with the rest order. So I don't know why Moff Jerjerrod's in there. He's not an Admiral for command. He's ability 1 or Destiny 1. He's not an ISB agent. Like that should not be in the deck. Let's see. Let me check some comments. I'm really bad at that. Baroni apparently wants some access. Hey Baroni, message. Well, let's see. Karuli is playing. It's normally Matt Karuli who has access. Oh geez, I have this thing just like in the way. God, I'm awful at this. So Karuli normally adds, but message and or Jeremy, but he said he went to lunch. Apollyon, I think. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but you probably know who I'm talking about. Apollyon on the forums. He has admin access to add people on Jump. And let's see. All right. Yeah, yeah, Charlie says no one's getting blackballed. Everyone who has access is asleep. I think Jeremy went to lunch. Apollyon must be asleep. Matt Caruli's playing. Because Charlie wanted access to stream, I think, but he can't right now. So let's see. Yeah, Ryan says, I really want to love farm mains for Watto CCT Court, but it's such a liability against ISB. It's true. I've seen a lot of farm Hitco recently. And even farm throne room. I mean, I think a lot of the team new allies, right? Wasn't some of them doing farm throne room? Some of the like Atlanta guys or something. I don't know. I feel like it got briefly popular on Jump like 2 months back. Anyway, so apparently I had the lobby window just covering this whole thing for the whole time I was talking about this like Imperial Square battle and stuff. Anyway, there's a bunch of guys there. They'll probably move in there. So Solo got lost in that last battle and only Evax died, and then Dark deployed a bunch more dudes and drew a few destinies and drew poorly. Drew oh wait, why was it limited? Oh, evac. There was still one less card on evac, so he evac'd to cap it to 1, but he's still going to lose a ray, and Vandalay dies. Yeah, he keeps the garrison so that he gets a third destiny there, but I just don't think it's needed right now. I might have kept Vandalay for the redraw, but either way, right here, light side, like it doesn't matter. Dark, if you're dark, like you're gonna take the system, and then light side has to move over to block this drain of 3, right? And if I'm dark though, even if I have Trooper Assault in hand, I'm not even battling. I don't care about that. What I'm going to be doing is draining for 1 at the system. I'm going to move into JCC and drain 3 there. And if I have extra dudes, they're going to be going to the Boss Nass Chambers and the throne room. And then I'm just moving all 4 of these dudes away and saying, all right, you can drain 1. It's a drain of 0 because of my objective. And then you can add 1 with your Saber. Woo! I'll lose 1 and then retrieve it with my objective. And then you move in front of me. And I drain 1, 2, 2, 3, and I just drain a bunch, as much as I can deploy to, and then I just run everyone away again, and each are drain a 1, and like there's no, battles are inherently risky, and a lot of times you should avoid them, especially if you're in a winning position. So right now, Light's in trouble. Their only advantage right now is hand size, so maybe they can. I mean, they gotta have a lot to go on profundity there. The problem is Dark is getting 3 destinies in space, and Evac is all burned. I don't know why Dark still hasn't moved in due to the JCC. Maybe just lack of force. Obviously, with only 3 in hand, he couldn't even draw, so he didn't have a ton of force because he deployed, Garrison and a bunch of guys and had to pay upkeep and battle. And but he really should be moving into JCC to start doing some more damage there. Wait, me? I always think everyone should go wide. Why would that be a shock? Going wide is the best. I mean, in an ISB against Throne Room, or anything against Throne Room. Okay, so I mean, like we said, Light's doing 1 damage, and ISB's retrieving it. So whatever is going on between, however ISB ends up getting its other damage through, whether that's a drain on Tatooine or at some of these other locations, ISB is definitely looking pretty good here. Okay, all right. I'm gonna put back up that lobby screen, but I will try to remember to get it out of the way. This time. So let's see. We've got Heisenberg Mascot. We've got Corrin's Court against Justin's Legend. So that game's usually a grind. We could probably wait like 30 minutes and then check in on it. But usually the flow of the game is Dark goes to the system, Light has its system, Light stacks the pit, Dark stacks the audience chamber, and they grind. We've got Heisenberg's ISB versus Matt Scott's No Idea. We've seen a lot of ISB No Idea. But actually, so I feel like we're kind of done with this this Throne Room ISB that we've been looking at, ISBs in a commanding lead. Let's go ahead and pop over the Taco Bill Wharfs ISB No Idea, because they're a little bit into the game. A lot of these Decipod games are just starting. This will be an interesting one to look at later. Gogolin chose Dark Senate, so I'm assuming it is one of those with the new Maul, and he's probably doing the double-bladed saber, and he's like, "Oh, this is good versus mains." I don't think it's. I don't really like it as a deck. It wouldn't be in my top 5 Dark Side, and Dark Side is bad, but something about it Gogolin likes. He's playing against Tig at least. It's pretty good against main, so he should be happy with that matchup. But maybe we'll pop in later and see if Gogolin's doing anything spicy with it. Let's look at Taco Bill and Chris Wurfs. So I will copy that address. I will move the stupid lobby out of the way for you guys. What's going on here? Jump window, jump lobby. What the? There we go. All right. That's good. I think you guys can see that. So this game, Light did. Okay, cool. Let's look at this. Light did have Lando and Anakin in hand, so they were going to get a couple destinies, and Anakin was going to add +1 to each. Unfortunately, one of them was a 1, so his total is 8. That will be enough to kill Ozzel in the garrison. Meanwhile, Dark gets 3, which will total 12, which will be enough to kill Anakin and Lando. What that means is we're going to have an empty Mara ship versus an empty Profundity, and it will be Darkside's turn. So if Dark has a guy in hand, well, even if it doesn't, Mara just gets a Destiny by herself. So she'll be 5 in a Destiny versus 6. But if he has a guy in hand and can get 2 Destinies, he might even theoretically get Overflow. Profundity covers 14, 5 with 2 Destinies. He'd have to draw 10, so he won't get any Overflow. I take that back. But either way, Profundity is going to die on the Dark Side player's turn. Light had to use pretty much all their force to deploy that, so they're going to use their last force to move over, and that basically tapped out their hand, losing that Anakin and Lando. So yeah, it's further trending Dark Side's way. Let's go ahead and see how our good friends Chris and Bill are doing. This is, I think, game 1 of this pod. So we have Taco Bell's ISB with the John Anderson V, who is just fantastic against no idea. When you peek at the top of their reserve and it's a character, they lose 1. If it's a rebel, you can move it to used. Which I really like the if it's a rebel move to used part. It's so thematic because Scanning Crew, of course, moves rebels to used pile from their hand. So Kurgi is great because No Idea plays tons of characters, but every deck plays tons of characters nowadays. Like ISB has 1,000 characters, Core has 1,000 characters, even Throne Room is up to like well over 20 characters. When it used to play like 16, this game has, well, I mean, like Chu said, all the interrupt text is now on characters. Stuff like Vader canceling text. You have interrupts that cancel characters' text, but you don't need them anymore because Vader does that. Or you have like even simple things like reducing attrition. You've got like the card that like reduce 3 attrition if you have a scout, but now Poultrytum just reduces 3 for ISB agents, or like Raid doing use pile pulls. Like there's a lot of stuff like cancel a interrupt, adding to attrition. There's lots of text on characters now that used to be on red cards, and that means you can play way more characters. So every deck has lots of characters now, and that makes someone like Captain Kurgi pretty good. Looking at the flow of this game, whose turn is it? It's Lightside's turn. Light does not have the plans because Dark played a few dudes there. Light decided to go over to the beach. They've got a projection here. There is a Menace Fades on table, but Lightside is not satisfying it. However, they easily can by just like even this turn, even without deploying anyone, it could just move Chariot and move a ship and satisfy it. So I'm assuming most every turn Light is shutting off the +1 from ISB, which then with projection making this a -1, Dark would just be draining 2 and 1 every other turn if they're following back and forth, because Tarkin and some guys can cancel a Destiny. Though if Light can get enough power here with the extra power Destiny and the reduce, they may just chew through Dark anyway. But so Dark is draining 1 there and 1 there. And Light, though, without the plans, is not doing any damage. They're not draining. Vader canceling Saw's text is really good because Saw is incredible. He would cancel Trooper Assault. He could add to attrition. So Light plays Lando. Oh, I guess Lando was already there. He plays Padme to add to an attrition destiny. So now he's got a power destiny with Han. He's got 2 destinies because of Lando, and he's got a Padme destiny, attrition destiny. Vader now cancels Saw's text in a. Oh. Vader cancels Saw's text in case Light battled next and Dark wanted to play the Trooper Assault. He wanted to make sure he could get that through. He should have done that in deploy phase, but he must have just realized that and went, "Oop, I passed on deploy too quickly." So he decided to go ahead and cancel that now. Light draws a 6 for power, which Tarkin does not want to cancel because he needs to cancel a regular battle destiny, so he doesn't get too much. Worf said, "You showed him." That's Vader's. There's like just a huge like battle overhead. They look up and this Star Destroyer is fighting these ships. There's like a Falcon flying around and all these stuff. And Vader's like, cancel Saw's text. All right, so Light's gonna get massive power here. Dark's gonna have to lose a couple dudes, and then we'll see if Light has to lose anyone with that Bright Hope subtraction. If Light draws high enough, they won't have to lose anyone, and then it will be Dark running. So he draws 5 for Destiny to attrition. So Dark has 8 attrition, which is 1 more than the most he can cover is 7. Light subtracts 2, so Light will have to lose someone. I think you probably just lose the Padme here. You keep the extra Destiny. You keep Luke retrieving is just so good. You know, so you lose Padme. It's fine. Dark has to lose 2 dudes, so probably Evax and Wolf Yularen, unless he has another Tarkin in hand, which he might, because if this is the same deck, Kessling played against me yesterday, and I'm guessing it is. They're both on Team New Allies, and I believe I saw Kurgi in Kessling's deck. I know I saw strategic reserves for the Stormtrooper patrols and the garrisons to go on. So I'm guessing it's the same deck. And if so, Kessling had 3 Tarkins in that deck I saw. There was 1 on table, and I verified 2 more. So I figured Taco might have 1 in hand, but apparently not. Keeps the Tarkin, loses the other 2. So Light's gonna move. Problem is, how do you keep Menace Fades in effect to save you 2 force? Do you move away the Han Chewie Falcon? I think you move away the Han Chewie Falcon and then pay 1 for Lando's upkeep. Yeah. Yep, Worfs agrees. He wants to save himself the 2 extra drains, the +1 at each, 3 total, because there's a Cloud City site too. So it's worth having a little less power. You got Lando's upkeep, and Sauce Game Text comes back. So Dark's gonna drain just 1 and 1. Excuse me. But Light's not really doing much damage anyway. If they can take over space, that will be good. But I think Dark will be able to stack enough dudes and just run to the weaker system. I'll still be able to drain free. Now, I think No Idea can be a really tough matchup for ISB. Especially No Idea that has Menace Fades. If they have Menace Fades and Projection, and I think that can be really tough for ISB. But I played it twice yesterday as the ISB player, and I won 2 very different ways. One was against Kessling, the first game, and I had a couple dudes at the War Room. I had like 2 random ISB scrubs there draining, and he drops Jin undercover. And then I drop Isard and Breaker cover. And on his turn, he basically spins all his force, like doing some stuff in space. But he also deploys an Ensign Chad Halsey or something. Ensign Chad with her. And then I got a Verify also, and I saw there was a Hujix in his reserve deck. And I'm thinking at this point, it's possible he has a second Hujix. The trend nowadays for No Idea is to not play a second Hujix, but it's possible he's got a second one. But I did see the one in reserve. But if you have a Hujix in hand, you're not deploying that instant Chad, right? Like, why lose an extra dude for no reason? So I figure he deployed him. The dude's 2 power. I had a Stormtrooper there, so he's going to add a Destiny to power, and he's 5 forfeit. So he's like, I'm adding 7 extra power forfeit plus a Destiny to power. Like, I think he did that so he wouldn't get overflowed because he doesn't have the Hujix. So between the verify and the deploying Chad, I'm like, I think that I think he doesn't have it. And I was already losing the battle in space. I knew if this goes to a long game, he's going to get Menace Fades out. He's just going to shut down my damage, and he's going to win the game. I need to win this. I need to just make a big move here. So I piled like, I don't know, 10 guys at the war room and played a trooper assault and got like 45 power, and he had to peel like 20 cards. And so I won the game just by doing a big overflow. Because I knew a long grindy game I'm going to lose to Menace Fades. Then the other game, let's see. Oh, Eric's already streaming this game. Can we see Menzel Kelly? Menzel Kelly is Yavin 4 Operations versus Hunt Down, and Yavin 4 Operations is just steamrolling Hunt Down because that's just the matchup. It's not a fun one to watch. I mean, I can go into it real quick, but sorry, I'm trying to see. Is that? Oh, that one's not even going anymore. It must. This comment from Casey must have been old. He must have conceded. Anyway, I was talking about the second game. I don't remember who it was against. Yeah, Casey, I'll switch to another game in a minute. I'm just talking. I'm not even really talking about this game in particular right now. So I'm just talking the general matchup between the two. The other game where I was ISB, I don't remember who. Oh, it was against Sam Yoshi. Basically, I knew I just needed to get a bunch of damage through, so I went super wide. I went like a dude to his home one docking bay. I went a dude to his like. I went dudes to the war room. I went a dude to his echo docking bay. And he like I wasn't getting. He had Menace Fades in effect. He had it opening hand. But I just stayed alive in space, and I was like, he took over. I played a bunch of dudes to his beach and data vault. There was this docking bay didn't exist in that game, and so I was just draining. There was a -1 here, so I was just draining 1-1-1-1. But his drain was -1 at Scarif. I think he went over to my like indoor sites, but we just kind of fought over those. He didn't really drain much there. And then he was kind of draining 1 at Mustafar sometimes, but he just wasn't getting a lot of damage through, and I was just doing 1-1-1. So if they get Menace Fades, one strategy can just be go to their other sites because you're not going to get your big drains through the way you normally would be draining like 3 at your forest or whatever. It's just going to be a drain of 1, and then they projection it and stuff. So at that point, you have to change your game plan. All right, let's look at what the other games are available. Let's see. We have Sperling's Throne Room versus Brad's ISB. We were watching that one earlier. We can pop in on that. We have Gogol and Senate. Let's look at Gogol and Senate and JC's TIG next. Here, we'll just briefly look at this game that we had been watching. So it looks like they did battle at Tatooine. It looks like Mace and Leia were cleared, which is impressive because Mace is immune to attrition, and Leia had her gun to shoot someone lost. So I'm guessing Brad just threw down a bunch of dudes in a trooper assault and got like massive power. And even though one got shot with Leia's gun, he probably just got overpowered by a bunch and had to lose both of them to not overflow for 8 extra. So Corrin's gonna go fight these spies because if he can kick him off this site, oh no, trooper assault, they're immune. That's a bummer for Mr. Sperling. So because if he could kick him off that site, of course they're forfeit 5 each. He'd need to draw 6, which is unlikely. I mean, unless he's tracking something, which he wasn't. So either way, only one of them would have died. However, if he could kick him off, he's only at 1 battleground. He can't drain at the JCC then. But no, they'll be completely immune. They'll kill Corrin and probably even retrieve with Imperial Enforcement here. Yep, they'll win the battle. They'll retrieve with Enforcement. Corrin will die. And then Darkside's turn, they're going to drain for 3, 1, and 3. So they'll do 7. Sperling is only at 11 total hand and life. So ISB will retrieve another one, and looks like Brad will win by 23. All right, cool. Got the conclusion of that game. So Gogolin and JC, let's see what they're doing. All right, so Gogolin. Oh, Gogolin's not doing the Senate I expected with the new mall and the his saber and whatever. He's doing a 12 card. Looks like he's got the Coruscant Guard in there to protect invasion versus like Anakin, Padme are annoying because their game tech's not canceled because they are Republic characters. Game tech's a non-Republic character. They're Republic characters, so the game techs aren't canceled. So Padme can add the Destiny to attrition, and Anakin has +1 to the Destiny, and they can clear out a lot of senators. But making them forfeit 0 and their power 0 because they're politics, so they'd get very overflowed. So Coruscant Guard is a big disincentive for that. So look like he's doing a 12 card Senate, which used to be standard a while back, but hasn't been seen in quite a while. And then it looks like his starting location is Mustafar, an episode 1 location, and then he can turn 1 pull the castle. Looks like he's playing some Dark Waters so that he can make drains -1 and probably a image of a Dark Lord V. So looks like it's So, well, all right. So Light's draining if they pay 1, 1, and with Luke's saber 1. If they pay 9, they can do 3. Dark, if they pay 3, can do 1. I imagine there have been some attacks. It looks like a Gik battle happened. Theoretic, I guess that might have been drained off the top or something, but you know, the problem with Gogolin's deck, what it looks like to me, is how does he get damage through? Clearly he's not planning on doing a lot on the ground, right? He's probably got a couple EPP mauls just to disrupt, and that you toss out a maul with a Gik, and you maybe clear, you want to go down and they've got a stack of dudes, and it's like you send out maul and you hit Rose and BB-8 and then just like Gik the battle. You're like, all right, cool, like that helped me. But clearly he's not doing a ton of ground if he's packing 2 Dark Waters plus the image of a Dark Lord. He's planning on just shutting down a lot of ground damage with that. But then how is he doing damage himself? He can drain 1 at Mustafar, obviously. I'm guessing probably there's like a Kashyyyk in the deck or something, but with no KDY to pull it. Maybe he's just planning on lot dotting into it. That's my best guess. Maybe he's got a second system so that he can try and drain in space. It looks like a space deck. We just saw Saber 1 go lost, and we saw Zuckuss go lost. We see Stinger and Guri and Fett. So there's a lot of space in the deck, not much ground, but the fundamental problem is not much damage. I think right here JC's content to pay 9 to drain 3 and just eat 1 damage, and his sights are decently stacked. If he's holding Hujix in hand, he's just good right here. If he's not, I guess like EPP Maul could come down on Ahsoka Jar Jar and like you were beating her and hit Jar Jar and overflow for like 6 or 7, but I don't know. I think Gogolin is in trouble here. Lot Dodd goes to take something, but I assume we're on turn 7. Lot Dodd's been able to see his whole deck. Gogolin's been able to pull any card here that would have helped, like a Kashyyyk system. So maybe something like that was top decked earlier. Maybe Gogolin's just counting on his opponent to play a system. Like, I don't know how
And you'd think rather than a uh, Dark Waters, he would have an Expand the Empire to just shut that down completely. That's weird. One thing though is Squabbling is grabbed, and it looks like Tarkin's Orders is shutting down the Mustafar drain. So he pays 3 to make Gogolin put a card to use, but then Gogolin has to burn his Lot Dod pull to take it back. So it's pay 3 to make them waste their Lot Dod pull is kind of nice. Um, I disagree with this. If you so he needs a second battleground for oh, JC doesn't have aim high. So he needs a second battleground for simple tricks because he wants to squabble for 5 force. So he plays Maul. I guess he'll just move Maul away because he needs to get that kick back that he just retrieved. He'll probably grab it with Lot next turn. So he'll probably move the Maul inside. Maul will not be able to drain there because he's still only one battleground, but then he can get the Gick back and move Maul out. Here's what I said as soon as he played it was I disagree, and here's why. The site you want to attack here is this site. And the reason being is you can try and swing at Luke, and if he has concentration, you get shut down, but that happens either way. If he has deflection, that stops one swing and you try and hit with the other one. But the reason why you attack this site is if you, besides Qui-Gon adding a Destiny here, so you definitely needed the Gick and everything, either way you're going to need a Gick. If you attack here and you kill both of them, he deploys another dude and still is just draining one there. If you attack here and kill Luke, it doesn't matter if there's dudes here because without that saber, this is a drain of 0. So if you can take out Luke, you permanently shut down this drain versus if you take out here, it's just temporarily shut down. So that's why I would be over here attacking Luke, trying to kill that saber, more permanently shutting down that drain of 1 than attacking here. So drop Maul there, retrieve, move Maul inside. Next turn, grab the Gick, move Maul back out. Block the drain for a turn, plus then kill Luke and hopefully kill it for good. But either way, it's probably just, I mean, it probably doesn't matter because here we're looking at 19, 24 for Gogolin Hand in Life versus 38. So JC is already up by 14 Hand in Life. That's after the 5 retrieve. He's already up 14 Hand in Life. And JC will also add a little more here via the drains because it's JC's turn. So Gogolin must have a second Gick in hand. Guessing maybe he plays one combo and one non-combo or something because otherwise you don't leave Maul there. Obviously he's gonna get hit with 2 sabers there, and Qui-Gon's gonna add an extra Destiny. He's gonna get overflowed, so he doesn't have enough force to push him out of battle or anything like that. So guessing he's got to have a second Gick here because otherwise obviously you move him inside. And he saved 1 so that he can, if JC has draw their fire, which wouldn't be an unusual card to have in a There's Good Nim deck like this. Yeah, so I don't know. I since Kashyyyk isn't out, and clearly he would have grabbed that before this, I don't see a path to victory for Gogolin. He's just trying to shave diff by pinging 1 every turn and looping Tarkin's Orders. So he's taking 2 and he's doing 1 and he's just kind of grind him down. But with already being down by 14ish, he'll probably lose this by 22, 23, something like that. Assuming he has the Gick here. Yeah, so Dark Senate I don't think is the deck to play right now. I think JC's going overboard here. If he has the Gick, you just wasted these characters, and if he doesn't have the Gick, you're probably already just good without that Padme. Your power 16 and 2 Destinies versus his 7, and you're gonna hit between your 3 swings, so he's already peeling 9 plus an extra Destiny. I think that's good, but oh well. All right, that's a game. Let's look at the lobby, see if there's anything else interesting going on right now. So we have Tacos ISB versus Worf's No Idea, which we looked at a minute ago. We can pop back into while I'm looking at the games. Come on. Tricky. I think that. What is... Well, I guess let's see if he has the Gick. Alright, so Maul hits Qui-Gon. What did he use? Oh, he grabbed deflection. So if another potential out here would be a Maul Strikes duel to duel Obi and hope he loses the duel so that he can just like kill Maul mid-battle. Goglin shuffles. He wants to kill that Qui-Gon because at some point he'll be out of Gix, and Maul is his only ground force. So Qui-Gon getting that extra destiny is annoying. But again, I think he should be attacking into Luke, not Qui-Gon, just to kill that saber. All right. Try your destiny, play your Gick. So 8 to 28. I'm guessing it's a Gick combo. Boop. Got a stack of card to conflict. Padme's going to get forfeited here. And Qui-Gon and Maul. I mean, so one potential move for Goglin is to move some of those senators into the JCC, but again, without simple trick satisfied, that does nothing. So, yep, there's, oh, he had 2 non-combo kicks, right? He couldn't have got that back after retrieving it, so, into hand. Huh. All right, I guess if you're playing some masterful moves and pulling them. Again, without satisfying simple tricks, that JCC drain wouldn't do anything. So, but he's not going to have a ground side if he's playing double Dark Waters. So he'd need another system. So again, he just, I don't know what he can do. All right, the Worf's Taco Bell game. We'll see how that's going. Oh, this is the one Casey didn't want me to stream because Eric's doing. So if you're watching it, looks like Taco Bell should win this. Oh, this is interesting. Maybe Leo will get some stuff through. Basically, Taco can run in space. Worf's just really isn't doing much damage. That even if he has Menace Fades in effect, which he doesn't right now, but even if he did have Menace Fades in effect, Dark would just do 1, 1, 1, and before he deployed, there would be 1, 1, 1, 1. Like he's eating 4 plus Dark's retrieving 1, Light's doing 1, and when Dark moves to block that, 0 because this is a -1 with ISB. So I don't know what's happening here. Neither of them want to battle there, which is weird. Someone should be happy with a battle there. But anyway, so Leia and Baze are going to come down and make some noise there at the data vault. So Worf's just going to do some stuff, but I think this just constant 1, 1, 1 plus the retrieval is just going to wear down Worf's. I don't see a path for him. So looking back at that lobby, we have the Goglin game we were just on. There's one other game, which is Corn's Court versus the Size Legend. So let's pop over to that. Like I said, when we first saw that match go up, that is a grindy game. We could check in on that in 20 minutes and see how it's going. And like I said, Dark stacks the audience chamber and the system. Light stacks the pit. So this is interesting, actually. I wonder if... All right, so Dark decides just drawing a bunch. He's like, he needs cards to do stuff. This is a drain -1, and projection is here. So Dark is just doing 1 and 1, and Light's doing 1. Of course, Light has to pay. Light does not have to pay. Oh yeah, it does. There's a battle order effect on table. So Light's doing 1, Dark's doing 1 and 1. Dark, of course, has scum retrieval if it initiates battle. There's no Rose out right now, which Coward would stop anyway, I suppose. There's no BB-8 out for a ping. So Legend is not doing as much damage as it normally does, and there's not a second resistance character, because if there was, this would be a drain of 2. So if Desai can get out BB-8 and another resistance character and drain 2 and ping 1, he'll actually be out damaging. But I imagine he was drawing for that and for some more guys to attack here. I'm wondering if, since there's multiple cards in Lost Pile, including the top of Lost was Gold Leader and Gold 1, at the point that we came in, I'm wondering if there had been some space battles and stuff. We've got Wolf and Prince Shizor out on their ships. I'm guessing no space battles, simply because I think there would be more other dudes here, like Ponda Baba and stuff like that, that you would choose to lose Prince Shizor before them. So the fact that Shizor's on there, he was obviously downloaded with the Space Cruiser, indicates to me there hasn't been space battles, because you'd have better characters that you want in space over this guy, most likely. So Korn deploys Hondo. He's just fortifying that audience chamber a little more in case there's an attack by by Leia and her gun, or by Chewie and Solo, or whatever. So he wants to lock that down a little more. It is a drain of 0, so I'm not sure. And like, that's a lot to do there. I might have done Hondo over here and keep Aura there, because right here, if like P-59 can get blaster proficiency out of the battle or whatever, Dark gets no battle destiny, because IG would not be alone and he doesn't have enough ability. So throwing Hondo there, who would then give you a guaranteed battle destiny, and a little more power, and it's half of his damage right there. I think Desai will probably want to disrupt that. Does a Monarch lost? Let's see what Desai's hand is. This is fun. All right, here we go. We have a Hujix, Wedge and Ship, Corrin, Profundity, Leadership, Falcon, General Leia, Perimeter Scan, Resilience, Second Leadership, so both those are going to be lost, Finn, and Bowie. So a fair number of ships in terms of Wedge, Profundity, Falcon, but not much in terms of pilots. Just Chewie is the only pilot there. And then the only other characters are Leia and Finn. So he still has not found BB-8, doesn't have Rose. He's got a perimeter scan for whenever that FET comes out, which is nice to have in your hand. He's got a Hujix, which probably won't come into play this game. I'm guessing late game it'll get tossed to a drain. He's got a Resilience. It would be nice for him if he had an EPP to throw onto a ship and then Resilience it and just use that to soak up forfeit. But since he's running General Obi, not EPP, and since he's Rey's already on the ground, probably 1x Qui-Gon is the only other EPP in the deck. Yeah, for drawing up to 12 cards, Desai's hand was not that great, which is unfortunate for him. The good thing for him is that he's at 31 hand in life. So he's got plenty of time to deal with this. He's not taking much damage. He's taken 1 and 1, and he's got plenty of time to deal with. Are the kids gone? Mm-hmm. Oh, no one told me.
I just got back.
Oh. So he plays Leia. That way he can... there's a second resistance character, which means this will become a drain of 2, which now he's matching damage, and he's way ahead in life force. Right now, Corrin has 20 hand in life versus 30. So he's up by 10 hand in life, and he's doing 2 versus 2. So his hand wasn't great, but he's in a pretty good spot overall because of that life force difference and the fact that Corrin's got a couple extra in loss, but also way more deployed. I think, obviously with this board state, Corrin's going to have to initiate a change, which probably means attacking into that Great Pit of Carcoon. Desai's got the extra R2 forfeit. It's going to be hard to do. It's nice that there's no leaderships, because then Fett can do something. Obviously, there's that perimeter scan, but you can drop Fett and move out Aura and Hondo and stuff. And but yeah, Corrin's gonna have to move out there and then hopefully start battling and retrieving. If he can be a couple turns at the Great Pit of Carcoon, battling and retrieving and blocking that drain of 2, and while doing 2 of his own, he can turn the tides. But right now, Desai's not unhappy with the situation. All right. So other people watching, Nick says that there was a couple ground battles, and Corrin had to peel like 9 in one of the battles. So that's how Desai got the lead that he had. If Corrin had a Gick and not peeled 9, they'd be much closer in life force, and I'd kind of like Corrin's position, being able to just attack in and retrieve and stuff. But this is usually a pretty grindy game. If Desai has no system, or it's already lost, it will be more annoying for him. But if he can get out like a Jakku system and just run around in with kind of weak space, and then drain free and have a second battleground and pop down Rose and BB-8, he'll be doing like drain 2, ping 1, retrieve 1, and just run in space. Like, that'd be ideal for him. Without the system, Coward would stop Rose and make him pay to drain, but not that big a deal. My window. All right. I am gonna turn off streaming for a little bit. I might be back later. I might not. I don't know. Sounds like Walkling Eric is streaming. If you go to twitch.tv/Walkling, and you can check in the Slack chat or on the forums to see who else is streaming. I know Baroni was trying to get access to stream, and Charlie was interested. So, and I think Mike Turner was going to stream too. So there should be quite a few options if you go check. Thanks for watching. Hope you